Hey everybody, we're back with the old farmer here. We started this guy from a block of wood, didn't use a bandsaw, and we cut him out with knives and gouges. And tonight we're going to start painting. I'm going to paint the thing for you. But I did want to say something. I put this little, first of all, I've already dipped it in linseed oil. I let mine dry at least a week, and that way the grain really pops out on it. And sometimes I even let it set even longer. But I have this little stitching tool right here, and I'm not going to do it because I've already done it, but you just run this little stitching tool up where you want these little seams to be, and just do it all over. I even did it right down here on the bottom of the soles of the shoes. I did it right here on the hat. And you can pretty much put them anywhere, but that's a stitching tool, and you can get this at, well, I've got this one at a fabric store. It's really a thing to trace patterns off of for your clothing. But I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to start with for the overalls, I'm going to use a cobalt blue, and it's by Folkart. You can use any brand. I generally get the brand that's cheaper or on sale. So you can watch how I'm going to put about 3 drops in. And let me see, let me wipe this excess off right here. I always like to keep some paper towels with me. But as far as the brush, this is a number 2 brush, and it's got a really good point where I can really get in there and do some painting. But now I'm going to show you how I mix my paint. I take this little dropper and I go in and I put about 3 drippers, about like that, in. Then I'll mix my paint up. And I'll generally probably get the overalls done, the shirt, the hat, and the hair and the shoes probably done. If not, we'll finish it on the next YouTube. I really wanted to show you all how I paint. And I go in like this, and I start painting right here like this. And I like mine's generally a stain or just a wash. I think I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna add just a little bit more paint. It's just a little bit too thin, so I'm gonna take my paint and make sure you get it all wiped off on your hand here, because you don't want to get that paint on your carving. Let's put in a couple more drops. It's a little thin. And now I'm going to mix it up. And that's generally what I do to get the right textured look that I want. Let's stir it up real good so you don't have any blobs of paint that's loaded in your brush. Yeah, that's the way I want it right there, a little bit darker. And you just kind of rub it over like this. Now, I may, if it's not really what I want, I'll go back in off camera and just put another coat on. But really, I wanted to show you how I really mix my paint and the kind of paint I use. Like I said, you can use any kind of paint. I use Folkart, just all kinds. You just gotta kind of take your time. You don't want to get in a rush. And see, it's coming right along. It hadn't got super. I don't like a real thick paint. I like a wash. And the reason why I use this little brush here is it's almost like a pencil. I can reach in here and get in little areas right in here between the shirt and the overalls. And I will go up over the strap here. I generally first like to do the lower part of the overalls. And I like to dip my carving in boiled linseed oil and let it dry, and you don't have have to worry much about your paint bleeding into another area. It pretty much now you do have to worry about it running into another area. But it doesn't get in the fibers and like it does when you paint dry. And you just keep working down. Overalls are, and I like a real transparent look. Some people may not like this look. They might like a, but that's up to what you like. I'm just showing you how I do mine. And then when I'm really finished painting everything, I'll show you. I'll go ahead and put on my final finish, and then I'll show you what I use and how I do it for the last coat. But you just kind of make sure you get all the spots covered. I generally like to go in and do the front of the legs first. I use a brush, this little number 2 brush. It holds quite a bit of paint, but I used to get to use a bigger brush, and I found out you can be more accurate with a smaller brush. And this finish will change when I put on the Minwax. That's what I use after I finish painting. I use a Minwax 209 Natural Clear Wood Sealer. It's not colored or anything. There's not a stain, but it really it'll darken your colors again a little bit more. Now I'm ready to turn around and start the back. I know it's kind of boring here, but it takes a little while to paint. You don't want to, and believe me, you don't want to get in a hurry when you paint. You want to take your time. Now you can, if you do run into a spot, you get paint somewhere, you can always go in with your knife and cut it off. I've done that before. I don't do it all the time, but there's occasions that happens. But it's generally when I do that, I get it on my hands, and it gets on my wood. But you just got to keep loading your brush up. And it may look a little splotchy at first, but when you start getting your final finish in there, it really looks good. And I know y'all have seen my carvings and my finishes, and this is the way I do it. Let's get up here and do it around the back now. Now that little tag right there, that's my little Levi tag. I'll paint it red later on. But this is generally, can you see that all right, Peyton, right in there?
Yep.
Okay, the lighting looked pretty good. All right. You take your time. Now I'm ready to come down and start this back side of the leg. And once again, if I don't like the color after we finish the pants, I will go back and probably put another coat. And I will tell you if I do or not, just to let you know that I've done it. But I didn't want to bore you with the second coat, and I mean, if I do put one on, it's the same thing, just one layer more. And it takes a little longer because this brush is not a huge brush. If you're really used to painting, you could use a bigger brush like this one right here. It's a number, I think, I don't know what number that is. Oh, number 6 brush. It was either number 6 or number 9. I generally don't go by the numbers. I say that brush looks like it's what I need, and then I use it. All right, now it looks like we've got everything but the straps on this guy, so now I'm going to be real careful, loading my brush up a little bit, and paint these straps. Can you see that in there, Peyton?
Yep.
All right. And when I paint, I like to have lots of lighting. Lighting is important. And right in there where those bare spots are, you got to fill those in, because if you don't, it really looks funny. And right up in here, and just use the edge of the bristle of the brush to reach down in those tight places. I don't know if it's how easy it is to see here. Let me turn this strap around. And I use this little paint tray. It generally works for me. Now that's probably where I want that to be. Now I'm gonna set this right here. I'm gonna, it fell all down on me. I'm gonna clean my brush off. I always have a cleaning container and then one to mix my paint. Now for the shirt, I'm gonna use this Ceramic Coat Barn Red. I like the way it looks, and I'm going to use it for the shirt. Once again, I go back in with 1, 2, 3 drops. And then I take my dropper. I go into about like that. 1, 2, 3. Now, you can go. You can make your paint thicker if you want. Like I said, I like a thin, a real thin look on mine. Let's see here. Then I always kind of like to clean my brush off. Now I'm going to go in and start painting this shirt. And I'm going to tell, oh, that's what I want right there, that barn red. That's the color I want it to be. And when you get up here around the neck and these straps, you got to watch it. And on these buttons, I generally paint over my buttons. I'll go back over that with maybe a gold or a silver button. Because and then I generally use full strength on my buttons. And I'm going to come around on this collar here. Can you see that all right there, Peyton?
Yep.
All right. And this old guy here, I wanted to kind of, we started him from a block of wood, and then I said, well, we might as well go ahead and just paint him too. All right, now I'm going to paint down on the arms. And I generally speed up stuff. If I'm putting another coat on, I have a hair dryer here to my side. I'll go in and I'll dry it with a hair dryer and then put my other coat on. And actually, when we get up in these eyes, I am going to use the hair dryer to show you how I do the eyes. I think the last painting demonstration I did on my little Santa, I did it on the Santa. His both eyes were closed, so that was pretty easy. But I did do an old grumpy farmer way back, and I did paint him, and I did do his. I didn't do his eyes on camera. I did them off camera. But this time I'm going to go ahead and do them on camera so you can see how I do it. What are we looking at on time there, Peyton?
Got about 7 minutes.
7 minutes, okay. Well, I may get I'll get the shirt in and maybe possibly the hat, and then we'll go from there and do on the next video. And on the final finishes, I probably will just talk to you, and I'll show you what I use and the can I use and the different kinds of brushes and that kind of thing that I use. But I have been finding, I know I repeat myself, but I've been finding out that these little smaller brushes you can control them a lot easier than those big brushes. Takes a little longer, but I think it's worth it. And they soak up more paint than what you think. Then you have to go over it and make sure you got all the bare spots. Okay. Oh, that shirt looks mighty fine. Yeah, blue and red so far. Okay, now I'm going to take my brush and we're going to do the hat. Go in on him a little bit there, Peyton. Are you looking at him there? We're going to do the hat up here. And I'm generally going to do, most of the hat is going to be green. And then I'm going to, right across here, I'm going to put white. And I'm going to use this little green. It's called Foliage Green. I like the way it looks. I've got several carvings that I have used this on. Get the paint. See how I get paint on my hands. You want to make sure that stuff's dry before you start. 1, 2, 3. Now, this is a liquid, and to get it, keep it from drying up, you can drop water in it and kind of shake it up a little bit. That needs it a little bit, and I do that often just to keep it from drying up on me. Okay, Peyton, I want you to get a look at that, how much water and how much paint there is on that. Okay, then I go in and I'm going to mix it up. And the reason why I let these things, I let them dry a pretty good while, is if they had any tackiness to the boiled linseed oil, it will kind of splotch. But, you know, the splotches aren't too bad. You can go back over them. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks the way I want it to. But you can see the grain through. That's what I want, to see the grain through that green. And you can see the little stitching there. I did want to say, generally before I dip them, I clean them up. Then I let it dry before I paint. And then I go in, I put in all my stitching. And after I get my stitching in, I go right in and dip them in linseed oil. If you do it before you put it in the water, I think it'll swell up on you and it doesn't look well. I mean, it doesn't look well when you go back over your marks. It just doesn't look right. I'm fixing to get this finished up here, Peyton, and all right. I've got the rest of this hat, and I've got to do some white right across there. And let's see, I come in right here. But I guess we could do the white on the next video. When I first started painting like this, you know, at first people are used to real thick colors. But believe it or not, you still got a green tint to this wood. And I find that I like it so much better than the thicker colors. Now you can, you know, after I could dry this and go in and put a, I'm just about done here, Peyton, and we'll cut off. You can put another coat on and it'll thicken up, because that's what acrylic does. You put one coat on, let it dry, and then the next coat on and it starts building up. But I think I'm going to stop right there. We've got the hat in, and I may put a little bit more right in there, but still it looks pretty good. So anyway, we'll finish up on the hair and the feet, and then the face and the buttons, of course, on the next video. So guys, with that, I'm going to leave it with you. Happy carving to you, and we'll see you on the next video. See you later. Bye.